Hey y'all, welcome to or back to Growth Rising. I'm Bird, and on this channel, we just talk about all things dealing with astrology. We have been going over the Jupiter placements. So today we're going to be going over Jupiter in Capricorn, where Jupiter is in its fall. So if you're not sure how to find your Jupiter placement, you can go to like Astro Seek, Astro Cafe, type in your birth information. You'll need the time, date, and place, and all of that will give you your birth chart. It'll show you what house each planet is in, what sign, and your rising sign and midheaven and all of that good stuff that we love over here with astrology. So you've done all of that, and you see that you have Jupiter in Capricorn, or someone who you know does. Yes, Jupiter is in its fall, is not as comfortable in Capricorn, but there are still some good things about Jupiter and Capricorn. And so, like with every placement, you need to look at the planet that rules that sign. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. You'll want to see where Saturn is and if Saturn likes where it's placed. So if Saturn is in Aquarius, Saturn also rules Aquarius. So the Saturn is pretty much doing whatever it wants to do. So Jupiter won't have as much of a fight to put up. And also look at the aspects that are being made to Jupiter as well as Saturn, which will also affect it. But yeah, so since we've got past that part, let's go ahead and go over Jupiter and Capricorn. So somebody with this placement can be very disciplined and ambitious and pretty persistent. You're not somebody who gives up easily. This person will just keep going, and they can be very well organized. And one thing that can help, a Capricorn Jupiter person to be so organized is that they know how to look at a big goal and break that down into baby steps, which is something really good because, Jupiter is all about the big, with it being right there in Capricorn. It's like, okay, we see the big, but we got to make sure that we can get to it because we can't just get from A to Z. We got B through Y to get through. So we got to find some kind of way to get through this. So like I was saying, if you have this placement, it's not terrible. These people can have very high standards for themselves as well as others. So if you do know somebody with this placement and you might feel like they're hard on you, it's not out of any kind of negativity. It's just that they probably see you at a better place than what you may see yourself at this time. Or you might not even think about it, honestly, because with Capricorn placements, they want to like see how things in the future are going to go and get through those steps to get there. I hope that makes sense. The Capricorn placements probably know exactly what I'm talking about, though. These people can be very enthusiastic about work. So I know that sounds very stereotypical, but Capricorn is definitely about, well, not just about, but one thing with Capricorn is that they will climb the corporate ladder. And with Jupiter in this placement, you can be very optimistic about climbing that ladder. These people can overcome obstacles pretty easily because they have that discipline and they have that structure. Anything can be thrown at them, but they're not people to give up pretty easily because they see the goal at the end. So they're going to keep going until they get to that goal at the end. It's not like, oh, bloop, something came up. Now I can't do it. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to keep going. Another thing with a Capricorn Jupiter, they may see more success later on in life. So let's say if you are starting a career at 20 at some job or whatever. And it may seem as if you're not doing too well at that job. You're thinking like, oh my goodness, I don't want them to fire me. Like, you want to do well at it, but it might not be the thing that comes the easiest to you. But displacement is very persistent. So it's not like, oh, it's too hard, I'm just going to quit. No, you're going to keep going. Well, this person will most likely keep going unless there's some kind of other factor that's stopping them. Anyway, back on the topic. Um, this person will keep going, and they may see that after some time at that job, it's like opportunities are just basically being handed to them, and they're like, okay, I can take that. Okay, I can do that, because things will tend to get easier for this person later on in life. So whenever you first start out at something, it may be a bit difficult, but in due time, it will become easier, if you just stick with it. These people can play by the rules and use whatever they have available to them. So if they're told that they can only use a rock and a stick to get through some kind of maze, they're going to make the best of using that rock and a stick to get through the maze. And if it's a competition, they might even come out on top because they know how to play by the rules and use whatever they're given to work for them. So they're not necessarily going to go against it. That's more of, their neighbor. Mm, yeah, their neighbor. Kind of like both of their neighbors. But anyway, that's a different topic. This is the reason why I take notes, because I can definitely get off topic and lose myself. So I apologize about that. These people do not care to take risk because they may see a goal and they don't want to take a risk that can harm that goal that they see for themselves. They want to stay on the track that's going to keep them going towards that goal instead of something that could possibly take them away from it or make it take even longer for them to get to this point. And they'll climb the corporate ladder naturally, and they might enjoy history. So history could be one of this person's favorite subject in school. Not necessarily. I'm just saying, how some people have favorite subjects in school. History could have been one of theirs, or they might like to learn things about um, their grandparents telling them certain stories about when they were growing up, or something about their town's history, or how certain religions came to be, just something about what happened in the past affecting the now. Kind of like, how did we get here is something that this person can enjoy learning, not necessarily just history class, because there's a lot of ways that we can learn about history. These people do want perfection, which can definitely be a downfall for these people. But, just try to remember that perfection is in the eye of the beholder. Just put it like that. It's not something that, I don't even know if that's the best way to put it. But yeah, you can't really expect everything to be perfect. And then whenever you do see it as perfect, it's only perfect to certain people. It's one thing is not going to be perfect to everybody. But yeah, so perfectionism can be something to harm a Capricorn Jupiter person. And they may never be satisfied with the results they may get. It might seem like, oh, this person is doing very well. They should be so happy. On the inside, it's like, dang, I really should have had did this, or I really could have did that better. Even though everybody else can be looking at them like, you did a really good job, but they're thinking, I should have did this better, which is kind of like a pattern with Capricorn. And so with Jupiter in this sign, it may be an even greater feeling within this person. So, just give yourself grace. Capricorn Jupiters, Capricorn placements. And also, remember to reward yourself for the things that you do well, even the small things. Remember to give yourself some kind of reward, and don't just brush it up under the rug. You did something well and you should be happy about it and enjoy it. Reward yourself sometime. So, if you do have your Jupiter in Capricorn, I want to know what you did or did not resonate with, and also if you feel like I left something out. Thank you for watching and have a good one.